Are we gonna start? Are we starting? ولا
We've started.
Baby girl.
Why would you tell me? Tell me these things.
بتشوف الديمينر مال كل حد تغير كده شوية.
You never tell me these things. I'm always just like spilling my mouth.
Look, honestly speaking, yeah. Why I believe talking about this is interesting. Concept of happiness and whatsoever is because it's a very paradox. It's a very paradox topic because it could be very light and it could be very heavy at the same time. It could be very positive. It could be negative at the same time. So what we'll try to do, hopefully, is stay in the just at the age. But hey, if we fall on the other side, it is what it is. I'm sure that we all have different definitions or different just thoughts of what happiness could be, or concept of happiness. I still looked into it online. Different people defined it differently. I have one actually. I have one. I felt like this is the most straightforward definition. It says, happiness is the experience of joy, contentment, or positive well-being, combined with sense that one's life is good, meaningful, and worthwhile. Now, personally, do I agree with it? Not completely.
I feel like it's kind of scratching the surface.
Exactly, and that's why I feel like I don't really agree with it, because nowhere there or any definition it said something about inner peace. To me, inner peace is everything. I have inner peace even for 5 minutes per day. That's me feeling happy. I feel like inner peace, and then it's like an umbrella. بعدين تحته comes joy, bliss, and whatever else.
Food.
Yeah.
Going back to.
Yeah. I don't know. What do you guys think? What's happiness to you guys?
Do you think joy is the bigger picture and then happiness comes in? Because for me, it feels like joy is what everyone, whoever lived on this world, is looking for. It's the ultimate life goal, sort of. Everyone wants to be, how I define it, it's mostly contentment. The other day when we talked about happiness, and you said something that resonated, that happiness is an illusion, or nothing is actually, it's non-existence. And I believe part of that, it's more contentment, so it's not about being positive and living in a happy life or positive life. It's being okay with the good and bad. That's راحة البال or contentment.
So it's like the state of letting go.
Yeah.
Letting go and just trust.
Yeah. To me, that's what happiness means to me. Contentment.
Okay. Do you feel like you're there yet?
It's a muscle I'm training.
Hey,
Yeah.
Training is good. Mohammed, what about you?
I think that happiness is a place in your inner, in your mind, where you take yourself in there, and you decide if you're going to make this thing, or this day, or this place a happy thing or not. So it's a self-decision, self-decision to make this feeling, I guess, or
Yeah.
Perspective.
maybe. You're fulfilling your perspectives, let's say. That's how I see it.
Okay. So if there was one word to describe happiness to you, what would it be?
Fulfillment.
Fulfillment. I like it. Aisha.
صاحبة الكتاب.
So I think that happiness is it's a result of going through struggles and challenges. So with those struggles and challenges, you experience both happiness and pain. You know, they're kind of alternatives. So you get both as a result of allowing yourself to grow and pushing yourself to go through difficulty. So you never know what you can get. Like, you can pull anything out of the basket. But either way, both help you grow. So happiness, I feel like it's such a overused term. People really conflate it, and I don't think the purpose in life is just to find happiness, because happiness, it's so much broader than that.
What's the purpose of life?
Aisha, you think? I'm sorry. Okay, everybody, sit down.
I mean, you said you don't think happiness is the purpose of life. Then what?
I think that for me, I don't see that there's one purpose of life. I think everybody has a different purpose.
That was a very smart answer.
I know.
Yeah.
So strategic too. But yeah, I think that everybody has a different purpose. So it's too simplistic to say that 8 billion people in the world have one specific thing. But I can say that generally all of us are supposed to find a way to grow, whether that's, on so many different levels. The physical, when it comes to our emotions, we can get into it, but it's more on the spiritual level that we're supposed to ascend. Pineapple. This part's pineapple. Because it's just gonna go into a whole tangent of things, and me just going into spirituality.
Okay, so what's the opposite of happiness?
The opposite of happiness?
It's pain.
Is it pain to you?
I mean, I think very broadly you can say it's sadness, and it's weird that when you're sad you can easily define it. It's way more clearer than what happiness is. And a question like what is happiness is any question that has a million different answers and no one specific definition, just like what's the purpose of life. Those questions, it's just something that you have to figure out for yourself. It's very personal. What's the purpose of life? What's happiness? What's love? I feel like it's very personal. So
I think that humans are always trying to find ways to pigeonhole ideas. These are such broad terms. How can you ask a question like that? I mean, how is my happiness the same as your happiness?
How?
You don't even want the same thing as me.
I feel attacked for no reason. But I get you. Yeah, I get you. I mean, just from our definitions, it's said that we have different perspective on happiness. But the reason I'm asking, what about you?
I do like the question you asked. How do you see it the opposite way? If I would say, I would name it as dark, because to me happiness is I said place.
Yeah.
And it's very light place. So being the opposite
place.
is very dark place.
Ooh. What's the dark place to you?
Yeah, and getting lost or not really understanding what's going on, or basically feeling lost of not be able to do what I'm supposed to do, or make me feel better.
I think this is a very deep question, because first of all, everyone has a different perspective on it. The second of it is, I feel a lot of people feel like the absence of happiness is sadness, whereas I don't think that. There are so many other emotions you can feel other than sadness.
It's a spectrum of emotions.
The thing though is when you're not feeling happy, we generally tell ourselves that we're sad. Because I'm not happy, then I'm sad. Then there's something wrong going on in my life right now. I'm not feeling happy. I'm sad, or I'm down, or I'm in a dark place. Whereas you might just be bored that day, or lazy that day.
Or the lack of happiness automatically means that you have a bad life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I heard that yesterday, that if the conditions, it's the opposite of what you said, sort of, but means the same thing. If the conditions of being sad do not apply in your life, that doesn't mean you're happy. Like if there wasn't,
Say that again.
if the conditions of being sad, like for example, there is no death in your life, there is no like war, you're safe, you're sound in your home. That doesn't mean you're happy necessarily,
Yeah,
right?
of course
You
not.
can be bored, you can be whatever. So not being in a situation where you should feel pain or sadness or darkness, that still doesn't mean that you can be or you are happy. I think happiness is. Someone sent a message to Eckhart Tolle that I've been searching for happiness for 20 years. He's like, well, if you search 20 more years, you're still not going to get anywhere because you're searching, you're trying to find it, and it's just here. That's why I feel like it's contentment for
So
me.
do you think it's like an illusion? It's like
Happiness is an illusion?
No, we do feel it.
I think
But
you're saying it's a choice.
It is a choice.
I think going back to what you were just saying, about like you're not necessarily happy just because the things on the outside are like they look right. I mean, like there's an outside world and then there's an internal world, you know? So I think that there needs to be a sort of like balance between the two in order for you to like have that.
Does there have to be
Does that make sense? I don't know.
Does the balance have to be there between the outside world and the internal? Or if you just get the internal balance, the outside will balance itself out somewhat because your perspective is all that matters.
I think sometimes you can go too inward and kind of reject the things that are outward. Do you know what I mean? Because it works both ways. That's what sages do. They literally like retreat from the world and they go inward because they want to explore what they believe, but then they don't know how to integrate into society. Oh yeah, it wasn't here. I was at a part of a book club and we were reviewing this book. It's called Surrounded by Idiots. Okay, so there's a word for not idea. Not everybody.
Thank you.
No, the idea is that everybody has like a certain variation of 4 different personality types, and we were saying that it's too limiting because they're missing a whole different type of person. So for example, like one is very like based on like facts and statistics. The other one is more like creative and more free flowing. So anyways, the 5th personality type that was missing is the sage. You know, this part that like people don't even know how to like deal with this person.
What does sage mean? What's the definition?
Sage is like a wise person. You know, whenever you hear like these stories, these myths, you have like this old sage person that kind of like goes off into the mountains, or they live in the mountains away from society, kind of like distancing themselves.
Like an oracle?
Same idea, same concept.
I feel like we need those type of people in the
Definitely.
world.
I think we do.
We
do
need
have
that
them.
extreme to learn something.
Go camping.
I mean,
It helps, yeah.
for sure.
Like real camping, not camping with the power bank. Real camping.
Yeah.
It helps.
I did that a few times.
Yeah?
Yeah.
But this is not like my 2 days. This is like they literally decide for a good period of time, I'm going away. I'm just gonna stop connecting.
Yeah, I
with
take it
people.
back. I take it back. Thank you, camping. No. So, okay, so this is what I'm thinking. Since happiness is a choice, do we agree that happiness is a choice?
Yes.
I do.
Yes.
Sadness is a choice then? Or any
Yeah.
other emotions?
It is, but
Actually.
it's complicated. It's not that simplistic, but the essential answer for me is
So if something tragic happens to you, can you choose not to feel what you're supposed to feel?
if you have the tools, yes.
Okay, so something or someone left this world. That someone is really dear to you. Naturally, you're supposed to feel however you're supposed to feel. Can you choose not to feel that way?
If you have the tools, yes.
I mean, but,
What
but that
tools?
makes you robotic.
Nah.
What do you
To
mean?
The
not-
way that you
to-
internalize it and the way that you understand the things in life are not supposed to go in one specific way. There's a myriad of like different things that are happening.
No, I
If
get
you-
that, fam. I get that.
But how do you process
What I'm
that?
saying is, though, no, it's okay.
It's
I'm-
their time. It's their time. It's the way that I
Why am I
understand.
triggered?
You know? By the way, like I'm somebody who literally went into like a really deep depression when somebody that really meant something to me passed away. Like I lost my mind. I went into psychosis. Legit. But if I had the tools that I have today, that wouldn't have happened.
I don't think you can do that.
I'm not saying you're not gonna cry.
No,
I'm not saying you're not gonna be sad.
Okay, can you choose not to cry is what I'm saying. Can you choose not to cry and not
Why
to be
would
sad?
that be the thing?
I'm saying, can you?
But you can still feel sadness, but not say that you're depressed and sad.
Fam, I understand, but can you choose not to be sad? Do you get me? Like,
If you're heartless.
Yes. No.
no,
No,
but she's saying you can
there's
condition yourself.
Okay, wait,
like
wait,
you
wait.
can do something.
Okay, so another instance. My grandfather passed away in 2019. Actually, my grandfather and my grandmother both passed away in 2019. And when they passed away, everybody in my family was so unbelievably sad. But I was there and I felt happy and I felt like I was celebrating his life. Do you know what I mean? I celebrated the fact that he lived rather than paid attention to the fact that he's... First of all, he lived a whole life. It was a beautiful life, very long, so many grandchildren. It was amazing. So I think from that perspective, because it wasn't sudden, I was able to think about it that way. But it's just a shift in perspective. And it was a tool that I gathered from my experience. So I think you can.
What I hear from that is, yes, it saddens me for this person to leave and them not being in my life, but alhamdulillah, they're in a better place.
As a result of this human, all these people are like coming together and how they all felt about him. And I swear, like, me and my cousins started to form a bond that even our parents were just like, they were shook. They were so, like, it warmed their hearts so much because they're just like, it's just so beautiful to see how all of the kids have come together despite the fact that everybody's crying. And I don't even know how to explain it to you. It was a whole thing.
I don't know. I've had several situations where, you know, we lost people dear to us. And I've had those situations where you know, you feel, okay, alhamdulillah, they're in a better place because, for example, they were sick or whatever. But that sadness must be there. Like, you can't really help it, to me at least, and the people around me. So that, I don't know, because I hear a lot, you choose that you're happy, happiness is your choice. So I ask, again, just like before this one, I told you, like, I ask questions and I don't necessarily have the answer to that. If happiness is a choice, then is sadness the choice? Is being bored a choice? Is being lazy a choice? Some of them the answer to is yes, easily, but some other, like, is sadness a choice? No, it's something, to me, something tragic happens to you, you don't have the time to choose. Sadness, على طول. You might delay processing the sad emotions until like further notice. It depends on how you feel. But it's inevitable. It's gonna happen. Let's say something bad happens. You need time to process it. By then, it becomes a choice. Or is it straight away a choice?
Yeah.
You're born and you learn, right? You feel happy and sad even when you're a toddler. So that's when the learning starts. The lessons just become harder, from losing a toy to losing a person. But the learning starts pretty early.
Okay.
And it's interesting that you say sadness might not be a choice, but happiness is, again, contentment is. Sadness might not be a choice because you cannot stop death.
This is it's a really deep question. It's different for everyone. Okay, let's let that go for now. Yeah.
Should we go back to our topic?
I think we're already back. We are recording. Good.
Yeah, but that's not a part of our topic, is it?
Hey, it is what it is. It's a choice. Everything is a choice today.
Sorry. Okay, so should I tell my story?
Tell your story. Tell your story.
Okay, I want to tell my story. Okay, so how do I start?
Yesterday, right?
Yesterday I had a really unique experience where I got the chance to kind of revisit when I was depressed a long time ago. And essentially, it's a video shoot that I am... A video shoot? Okay, it's an art piece that's going to be like a video installation that I'm working with a couple of different artists. And it was just depicting what depression was. I was the actress, and I had to basically put myself in the space of a depressed person for like 6 hours. And I think just being in that space of like being able to reflect on what it feels like to be at the depths of despair and sadness, and then the next day alternatively have to think about happiness and the meaning of happiness. It made me feel like... Okay, so I brought a book with me today. And this is a book that really helped me...
This is not sponsored.
It's not sponsored by Scott Peck. Actually, I don't know what his name is. No, I think it's Michael Scott Peck. And it's called The Road Less Traveled. And essentially, this book, the main message is, life is not... Okay, no. Life is simple, but it's not easy.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
Yes.
So, life is just a series of challenges that we have to go through in order for us to grow. I already said that, right? But if you're constantly avoiding those challenges, that's when life becomes hard.
Yeah, so you just gotta let it go. I think
You gotta face it. It's not let it
face it and let it go. Like, okay, like if you do something, you have to let it go afterwards. As in terms of the outcome, in terms of the result, you have to let it go. You have to let it come to you afterwards. So you're saying, مثلا, life is simple, but it's not difficult. But it's difficult.
It's not easy.
But it's not easy, right? Because Johan Cruyff, there's a player. Well, he passed away. He said the same thing about football. He said, football is very simple, but it's very difficult to play it simple. Why? Because you usually have expectations. You want to win. You want to win the way you want it to. You want to win. How you want to win. How many goals. Same thing in life, right?
Okay, I see what you're talking about. I definitely think that a huge part of it is letting go and not feeling like you have to control everything, that life is random, you know, anything can come at you and you just need to be able to face it. But the main message that I took away from this book was that I was avoiding challenges, you know. My whole life I was just avoiding all of the challenges, and that's the reason why I was depressed.
Is taking things simply a choice?
Is that you, God?
What going
Guys,
yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Just gonna. It's okay. What was the question?
Is simplicity a choice?
Yes, I believe so.
I think
there are factors that can determine that, but I also think it's a choice, honestly.
Taking things simply.
making things simple and looking at things in a simple way is work.
Yeah.
It's work. So it depends.
It's-
If you've been
mm-hmm.
practicing, it's easy because that's something that it's a mode of thinking. But if you
Thinking.
don't, it's hard.
I told you this before when I read The Power of Now. I struggled at the beginning because I was trying to let go. And once I stopped trying to let go and I just let go, it really was simple. It's trying, right? It's trying or struggling or searching for something. You don't need to search or struggle. It's just...
I don't think there's no struggle. I think, again, pain and happiness, they alternate. You don't know which one you're going to get.
But you gotta go through it.
You have to.
You have to go through it.
the thing is like, okay, you have to, right? In order to grow, but you can also avoid it, which will give you even more pain.
Yeah.
And I think people who are like sad are people who just, they either choose not to go through it, or they just don't know how to find the strength to go through it, you know? And they don't realize that's actually causing more unhappiness and more pain, because you're also depriving yourself of the joy of going through things and achieving, like going through it. Makes sense?
I think presence is the thing that applies on everyone, young, old, went through it, didn't go through it, difficult life, easy life. Presence is, that's why The Power of Now is really one of the greatest few books that I've read, because it really applies on everything and everyone. Yeah.
I just want to know really, really quick, when you're happy, what are you doing? What are you doing when you like, when you go to yourself like, I'm feeling happy now? What are you usually doing? Right. For me, it's very simple. When I'm at the beach, usually when I'm with the family, when I'm eating.
Why are you pointing at me?
You're the food person. When I'm eating and when I'm at peace. كذا أحس I'm at peace. My mind is really clear. That's when I'm most happy. You know, it sounds simple. Sometimes it's not simple. Right. What about you guys?
I think I would, يعني whatever I do when I'm happy is taking snacks.
I was just thinking I'm gonna be so disappointed if he doesn't say food.
No, he's serious. Like
I am serious about food. It's
By the way,
my
it's a good thing. I'm
Yeah.
just like, yeah, I just wanted you to say some food. Sorry. Go.
So I take my snacks, go on, let's say, long road trip,
Yeah.
in the night, playing some good music, to no point and come back.
Cool. I like that you're a simple guy, even though you're not really a simple guy. I know you're not a very simple person because I know you.
Inshallah.
Best from the things that makes you happy, and like your simple things make you happy. That's a good thing, inshallah. How about you girls?
Me? For me, it's when I'm making art. It's a huge thing for me. When I'm dancing. When I go to the beach, like I have that too. Beach is like really important to me. When I'm laughing.
When you're laughing, you're happy.
When I'm laughing.
Oh, when
That's
I'm
why I'm
watching
always here
football.
for the
When I'm
jokes.
watching football matches, I'm happy as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
For me, it's mostly just like being in a space where I'm having meaningful conversation. That's why, like, to me, this
This is
like-
happiness.
this is
That's
the
it.
ultimate happiness.
That's it.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like just that realness, that makes me very, very happy. But it feels the same as like the creative space, you know?
My first answer was going to be that deep conversations, the deeper the better, it makes me happier. Just connecting authentically, even with strangers. Now that recently I've been connecting with strangers, and it's really been uplifting me a lot and making me grow in a way that I didn't discover before.
Yeah, that is very brave, to be honest.
Yeah. Being surrounded by the people I love. My cats make me happy. Just chilling with my cats, reading a book.
How many cats do you have?
2.
Names?
Coco and Kobe. COVID, short for COVID.
COVID?
Yes.
Wow.
We got them both. And
Is it toxic?
no, that was.
Is he a male by any chance?
That was the condition for me bringing him to name him COVID. So.
Because it was a male.
Yeah. Not because he's a male, just because it was COVID. But yeah.
Where's the result?
Love it.
After I've created art, makeup look on a model and I've posted and I see people's reactions and it's something that I'm proud of. That makes me happy. Traveling, music, cruising, beach.
All the answers are really simple, but then why is it very difficult and complicated to achieve happiness?
It's not.
But why are so many people not happy?
It's not easy.
You said it's not what?
Simple, okay?
It's not what? It's not simple or it's not what?
It's simple, but it's not easy.
Yeah.
Because of the book. Are they paying
Because
you?
of the
Are they paying you or something?
It really does make
They
sense.
are not. It's just logic, and I know logic is not very common.
Double zoom in.
You're not paying me, but come on, you understand what I mean, right?
I do.
Yeah.
It is very simple. Everything in life is so simple.
Then why so many people are not happy?
Because it's not easy. Everybody wants a cheat sheet. Like if you could get a
But you
cheat
said
sheet
it's
to life,
simple.
wouldn't
You said
pay
it's
for
simple.
it?
How come it's not easy?
Triggered. No, I feel people are getting triggered.
No, but like if you could get a cheat sheet in life, wouldn't you
No.
want it?
It's boring.
Okay.
I think. Do you mean like you need the contrast, and the bigger the contrast between unhappiness and happiness, yani the more unhappy you are in life,
It's
and
like-
find the tools there, the happier you will be.
I think that you just start to like make your own associations about what you think happiness is, and it's so far removed from the truth that you start to chase after something that doesn't even make sense. Like now everyone's always just like, just be happy, just be happy. It's so overrated. It's not just be happy. There's other things that come with happiness. So our idea of wanting to chase that happiness, obviously it's not simple. It's not, it's not, damn it.
It's not easy.
I know, right? I've been saying this whole time. Okay, it's simple,
I get
but
you.
it's not easy.
I get you.
Are the tools for happiness the same as what you're doing while you're happy? Like the question you asked when you said, like, for example, art, beach, are those the tools, or is there? Were you referring to something else when you used to say tools?
Okay, so imagine now I'm gonna pick up the pen and I'm gonna start making art. I don't feel happy as soon as I start doing it. There's a lot of discomfort that goes into it. The first half an hour I'm just like, this is so ugly, I hate this so much. By the third hour I'm like, okay, I can see what I did here. Oh, I learned to do something else. After it, I'm just like, wow, this is amazing. I'm happy that I did that. But there was struggle. Do you get me?
So you're saying the happiness is like the output of whatever you've been through?
For me, it is. I think for different people, they assign like different stages of getting to happiness makes them happy. Like, okay, for example, I love the fact that we did that shoot yesterday, but while we were doing it, I hated it.
But does it have to be like that?
No, it doesn't, but that's me. That's my character, that's how I assign to it. So for me, I like the idea of all of the difficulty that I went through, and I had to grow. I told you, I'm not comfortable in front of the camera. 6 hours with the camera in my face, and like, show me your depression. But I had to push through a lot of things that I felt uncomfortable with, and I knew that it was gonna help me grow. So I was like, yeah, why not?
Look, I think a lot of
It's
the
not
reasons,
easy.
honestly,
No.
this is just from what I'm seeing. A lot of the reasons is because there are a lot of people with unresolved emotions, unprocessed emotions in the world. People who don't have the tools, don't know where to get the tools, don't know that there are tools for just processing. Some people don't even know that they have emotions that need processing. And this is where I want to go next, because when I told you guys that we have responsibilities towards our children in the future, because a lot of people, a lot of parents have babies when they have a lot of unresolved and unprocessed emotions. A lot of people don't know that you can inherit emotions to your kids, whether they're positive emotions or negative emotions, right? just like there are, you know, generational curse. It's a real thing. There are families who have
Generational trauma.
generational trauma. Some families suffer from depression, like inherit depression from their parents, from their grandparents, and so on. It's very important for all parents to, now more than ever, especially with the COVID thing and all, you know, statistically, depression is gone. It's skyrocketed so badly. That's why somehow when I hear people say, you know, COVID kids, I'm like, hey, are they okay? Are they going to be okay? Did you just have them because you were bored, or like what's the condition? You know, it's a serious thing, and you don't really get to realize how serious it is until maybe years later, maybe 15 years later, right? When you see those, if you saw the symptoms in your kids. Therapy is still stigmatized, but to all parents, we see your kids, and those kids sometimes are in their 30s, in their 40s, and they still have emotions and emotional baggages. We see them now. Undiagnosed. We see them. They're not okay. Sometimes they don't know. So yeah, that's what I was thinking about, because I was reading up how you inherit emotions and emotions in general, and a lot of it is because of your parents, and because we don't resolve it. It's very important to go, just process your emotions. Go to therapy before you decide to have babies. This is, I guess, if there is any message I have, just do this before you decide to have babies. Honestly, it's not looking good. Again, we see them, they're not doing very good sometimes, and that's why you see a lot of divorces. I'm not saying it's the only reason, but some of them are symptoms or byproducts. We see abuse, we see emotional abuse. It's not a coincidence, you know? That's my thought on it. What do you guys think?
Essentially, the question was that we have areas of responsibility, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
So funny story. I actually teach a class, like I call it a vision board class, and there are 15 areas of responsibility in your life. Did you know that?
Interesting. Keep going.
Tell us
Okay.
more.
Like legit, when I saw that, like areas of responsibility, I was just like, what? So crazy. So I'll read them out to you. It's artistic, career, travel, spiritual, education, fun and recreation, health and physical appearance, financial, social, personal development, and personal. When I heard all of those categories, I was just like, there's no wonder everybody is so depressed. How can you do the most in all 15? They're 15. Do you know what I mean? In order for us to feel like we're doing it all, we're constantly trying to juggle through all of these different areas of our life, and it's just not possible. It's not possible.
Mm-hmm.
So when we talk about like areas of responsibility, do you mean specifically just to your kids or to yourself?
I'm specifying children because I don't think a lot of people think that they can affect children.
Yeah.
That's why my thoughts and like my emphasis are on children.
I think that your motivation in some of these categories will tell you a lot about whether you're ready to have children or not. Do you know what I mean? Because the idea is you sit down with each one of these categories and you write down all of the things that you want to achieve and what your motivations are. You start to measure and figure out what your values are.
I have a question. It's maybe random.
Yeah.
Do we have marital counseling in it?
There are some people that do it, but they're very few. I know 2 people that do.
Okay, so we do have.
Yeah, I know 2
counseling.
people that do. But I don't think that it's a big thing, and a lot of people do it kind of like very, they'd go to like,
Yeah.
and then he'd give them like Did I make a face?
Okay, enough.
Like,
Enough.
can we re-record that?
Can we pause?
Yeah, please pause. Please.
Wait.
Please. I think this is a good place to end this. You guys want to say anything before we end it? Yeah?
Check your notes, Manar.
خلاص?
Hold on.
You have stuff to... Okay.
Wait, I have to read my paragraphs.
خلاص.
How many hours do you have?
خلاص no need. خلاص.
Oh no, I think I said everything.